before because I pushed the live button before I was ready for the live button, but here we go. Hi, how you doing? So pretty much I am recovering. I have an injured foot. My foot's injured, and so right here I'm just in the process of kind of like just getting that all dealt with. So I have a whole bunch of like creatures here I'm going to be working on. I hope you guys get a good signal. I'm gonna see if I can raise up higher. The higher, the better. The signal. So let's go. All right, so here we have this, and I'm gonna put my headphones on so that way you guys can like hear me better. But for the most part, though, I have a whole plethora of things I'm gonna be working on. So I have my gloves on to do some painting, and then anyway, so I have my gloves on to do some painting. Let me get my headphones over here. And yeah, I know I haven't done like a face paint or a body paint in a while, but soon, at some point, I'll do that. As for today, we're gonna do some sculpture painting, baby. So yeah, so with sculpture painting, what happens is that we have a lot of different ones to pick from. So I wanted to show you a couple of ones. So let some people kind of join in and see what's going on. And let me put my headphones on. Let me put my headphones on. All right, cool beans. So now we're connected with the headphones so you can hear me a little bit better. I'm a little bit closer to you now, right? And the signal is pretty good. All right. All right, let's do this thing. So first and foremost, I'm going to show you some of the things we have here. I have Mr. Yeti, right? But Yeti is just Mr. Yeti. So, Mr. Yeti, right? And then I have, the ones we're going to primarily go with is with this one. So, I haven't really thought of my script, what I wanted to say, but this is the one we're going to paint today, first and foremost. This guy here, he's the grandchild of this one here. So this one's Firebelly, right? So Firebelly, and this one here is the Firebelly. We're gonna just go and give him a paint job real quick, right? And in the meantime, what I have here, some more cool stuff. Let's see what you got. Let's see what you can see. You can see here. You can see here. All right, cool. All right, so let's pull this out real quick. So what I've done, this is my kitchen setup, and in my kitchen setup, what happens is that we're just kind of doing some really cool stuff. I hope you guys can see me. I think it's gonna jump in at some point. Oh, welcome. Hey, how are you doing? Welcome. And I'm going to go ahead and start organizing my stuff. So this is what I normally use whenever I paint anything. I use this thing here. This is my paint. Hello, you can see me? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Let me know if you hear. I can see you. Can you hear me? All right, cool. Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me too. Because like what happens is that pretty much I don't know. Sometimes I don't get a great signal here. So this is my I can hear you too. Okay, cool. Okay, now what I need your help is with what color should I paint? Not this one, because this one I know we're gonna paint with these colors, right? But the one is gonna be this guy here. This guy here. This guy. What color should I paint this guy? Thank you so much. What color should I paint this guy? Because what happens is this, right? I have a plethora of colors to pick from, but let's see, I'll show you this guy here. This guy is Raph, right? And I worked on him because what happened at my job, there was a guy, he had a big old mask, like a Raphael mask, right? And I was like, oh my goodness, right? So my kids and I, we're gonna get into, we just finished Star Trek Next Generation, right? All 7 seasons of Star Trek Next Generation. We're about to watch some of the movies. And anyway, so what happened when I was at my job, a guy came in and he had like a big old mask, right? Big mask with a Raphael. So what I did was that I really quickly, I just took a second and I was able to make a masking tape version of him. So if you see it in my videos, I made a small version. And then I was like, people said, you know what? I bet you can do a really good one. So I was like, okay, you know what? Let me give it a shot. So this is my first Ninja Turtle I ever made is this guy here. So there you have it. There's Raph, and you see his feet. His feet are here. All right, so you got little Ninja Turtle feet, and you got the size and everything like that too. So there you got that. All right. So for the most part, there's that. This week they said it was the Predator week, the week of Predator. So I have my Predators. This is the one I made from. Yeah, she has a fork, right? This was the Predator from the Feral Predator, right? This Feral Predator from the movie, the one Prey, right? You have that, and he got his ugly face. Let me see right there. Put his ugly face right there. Yeah, that's his ugly face. Got that right there. So you have this one, the one from Prey, right? And then put this down. This one down. And so what happened was I made this one. This one's a Predator I had made a while ago, and this one was a kind of a thing where this was one I made, and I just kept on working on it. So just like a lady Predator with all her dreadlocks and stuff like that too. So she's got that, and she got a little book bag. Right. So here's her mask, and I did this one. I painted this one I think live or something. I'm not sure, but here she is, and this is all again masking tape, 100% masking tape. So put her head there like that, and there you have that. So here's her with her mask. Right, there you got that. I'm just gonna slow down so you can see it better. All right, cool. Put this one out of the way. This is one of the predators that I had. One of my original predators. This is the one, the second predator I made. Because the one that I was original one that I had, my sister, I made them to my sister and my brother-in-law, and so they have it. So this is the one that I made that was been on my table whenever I go to the art markets and stuff like that. So he's got his little predator face, you know, the whole jaw thing. So that's him, right? So that's him, and he's got his hair, and he got his predator mask. So that's there. Right, so that's all that with this, right? So you got that in his mask, and you got the things, all the weaponry, and you got the shoulder cannon, the shoulder caster they call it, and you got like the blades, Okay, so anyway, there's that. Put this one out of the way too. And this one, when I was making, I was trying to make the one for prey, right? Like for example, I call it Machiko, sorry. And so she was like, well, pretty much she also, but she's a human, so she's a human who roasts her ranks. So she's like a Comanche who roasted her ranks, all masking tape, 100%, right? So you have that, and there's her mask right there as well. So there you have that. So there's out of there, all the predators out of the way. Let's go ahead and talk, shall we? Let's have a chat. Feel free to ask me any question. Ask me any question you like. I would love to talk with you and answer your question as I'm working on some of my creatures here. So let me show you. I was working before on this pregnant lady here. Pretty much pregnant lady. Before you saw her, she didn't have any toes, so I made toes and I made fingers for her. And what happens is, like, you know, I remember when it was like pretty much my wife was pregnant with our children. We have 4 kids, and what happens is like, it's like I look at all the shapely curves, and it's like just so curvy and shapely, right? And so what happens, part of my class that I had this year was like, I had different people come into it, and I had a request for a pregnant lady to come in and pose in our class. But, you know, she was able to make it for whatever reason. But for the most part, though, she wasn't able to make it, and that would have been cool. So I was, from memory, was able to make this one here. And so, yeah, so she's all like curvy and pregnant, like that. So, you know, that's so cool. How little humans come into the world. It's through the belly, right? And how does that? Kids, ask your parents where the babies come from. So there you go. I have that one. So then here are some more creatures. Long story, when I went to camp, we made the Yeti, and then we also made this one here. I call her Cindy with one eye, and she's a Tharx. She's a four-arm Tharx, right? Four-arm Tharx, and that's from the John Carter, right? And then here's Mr. Yeti. So we started with Mr. Yeti. So Mr. Yeti, because I was watching this movie called Smallfoot, and the whole Smallfoot movie was such a good movie. Terrible marketing. Let me tell you, the marketing on Smallfoot was terrible, but when it came to pretty much the whole of it, it was great. So here's that Smallfoot. Well, anyway, so he's like, it also reminds me of the one from the one with the toothache, the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer with the toothache thing. That's, yeah, Blueface. Then you have this one, a Tharx, and then this one's a Bigfoot. So these are all my cryptids, my cryptid creatures. So they kind of run in a group. They're all together. So I'm gonna toss it over there. Check that over there. That's the cool thing about masking tape. You don't have to worry about it. Sorry about that, girl. She just took that edge to the back. All right, so here it goes, right? So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and start painting this thing here. So this here happens to be my palette paper, one of the best things in the world. It's palette paper. I got this at Walmart like about 2 years ago. It says, "Hey, hi, Amy." And so this thing right here, we got the palette paper. Oh wow! Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Amy. Amy's one of my supporters. Thank you so much for that, and excellent. Cool beans. So here we have it again. So this is these are some of the artworks that we make, right? So again, feel free to ask me any question in the chat. Okay, just write down a message. I'll try and read it as I'm working on this stuff. So my goal today is to paint as many of these gremlins as possible, right? You have gremlin. This is a gremlin here from the class. Excuse me. This one here is a one that we went to voting. Yep. And this one here is making for a friend of mine, because pretty much he's like a really cool dude. So he asked me to make like an eagle man. Reminds me of Birdman from what do you call that? He-Man. Remember Eagle Man, Birdman. Anyway, so Vulture Man. I think it was Vulture Man. It was Vulture Man, but he looks like an eagle, so he's gonna be an eagle. Let's get this party started. All right, so here we go. I'll show you a list of colors. Let's start off with the this guy. Well, start off with this guy first, right? So since it's gonna be the easiest and the most forthright, we start with these guys too. Black and red and black, right? Then I'm gonna chuck all my predators and stuff a little bit away so that they don't get like damaged by paint. And then I got my paint brushes. I'm gonna put all the predators, because I have more predators than these, but these are like the ones that are, the ones that I have most predators. I also have a predator gremlin. I call it predator gremlin, a predator gremlin. So So yeah, here's all the different ones. Let's go ahead and just kind of chuck it over here, and so everybody's out of the way. I like her painting. The painting on her face is really cool. On this one, on her mask. Yeah, that's cool. That one's not a Predator from the Predator series. This one here, there's actually is a Machiko, all right? And then so, but she's not this person. This is not her style. Machiko was actually like a Japanese, but mine is Comanche. So, in your face. So here's that. Take off her mask. You see her hair, and her face is like that. So there you have that, right? Remember, if any of you want any of these ones like this, I could make them for you. Definitely keep me. Oh goodness, just tripped on the floor. Okay, this one here is my Predator. Yes, okay, I went over there, and then this is this one I made when I was doing DoorDash, right? This one I made was doing DoorDash, and she is like a really hideous looking one, because what happened when I was sitting there waiting for the DoorDash thing to ring, and sometimes you just sit there and you wait, and I was waiting and it didn't yield any fruit. So I was like, let me just make it. Took 2 hours to make her, right? But then to paint her took way longer, right? So chuck it over there. Dude, I keep throwing these ladies and they keep falling on the ground. Let me just go get them real quick. Hold on, we'll be right back. You have to know how to check your ladies, right? No, don't do that. Just joking. Sorry. Okay. I have returned with gremlins and the pregnant lady. Okay, so here it goes. This is what we're gonna do. I want to just kind of stop and think for a second and thank God, because thank you, Jesus, because this has been an interesting day. My foot, right? I hurt my foot yesterday. This is not my foot, but this is a rendition. I dropped a plate on my foot. So when the plate fell, I went to kick it, and it caught me right there in that bony part of my foot. That's why I'm hurt today. So yeah, so I took some days off. I took a day off of work, and I'm here talking to my people about the struggle I'm going through. Here it goes. All right, so here's paint. Oh, goodness. All right. Now, see, my job, requires me to stand up like for 8 hours and stuff. So that's why I said to myself, you know what, I got to take time off, because sometimes you just got to do that. You just can't, be at your full capacity doing something. You have to kind of like just, take a break. So let's do this. I'm going to use my other camera to take a picture, because, later when I make footage for Instagram, I have at least 2 cameras I can use. And that's always cool. So yes. So anybody ever watch the Starship Enterprise, and watch the not Starship Enterprise, but the show, what do you call that show? The Next Generation. My kids and I, we just finished watching that, and it's like hi Jude Rance 1 2 3. Good to see you. So what I'm gonna do is this, right? And so yes, I need your help. I want to know what kind of colors or what kind of pattern. This one's going to be simple, because this one here, he's going to be the one of this pattern. So I'm going to make a mirror of this one. So this one and this one's going to look the same when I'm done, okay? So I have my paint, my gloves, so I can hold them, and I'm going to paint with this hand. And you and I could just talk. Please just feel free to ask me any question. Any good question. Please don't ask me any dumb questions, because dumb questions I won't answer. All right? Okay, good. So red and black. That's good. We have red. Let's start with a red belly. See, the thing is this, one thing I like about that whole masking tape thing, where's my speaker? Okay, it's right there. The whole thing about masking tape, and what I like about it, it's that, again, it's so durable. So I was just kind of chucking all these Predators that I had, ones that I made, and I like that because it shows itself to be a very formidable type material, You can do a lot of things with it. Just draw this red. So he's a red belly. He's gonna be right now. His belly is red like this. So definitely, how did my foot get hurt? You ask. Well, nobody's asking that question. But if somebody was to ask that question, it would be like, I was carrying some dishes, which is part of my job. And what happened was that the dish, when I was walking through the dish pit, it became unstable, and not exactly sure how that happened. But all I know is that it happened. And when it happened, I went to try and kick it so it wouldn't hit the ground, because these dishes are expensive. So when I went to do that, I really kind of bestowed upon my own self a severe amount of pain. So I did that, and I immediately felt pain. But now I had to go and make a report, because when you get injured on the job, you have to report your injuries, And so, which required me having to take the day off today, because I don't think I could walk the 8 miles that I normally do if I can't stand for as long as I need to. Right. So anyway, long story short, yes, ouch, a lot of ouch. So you got red belly. There you go, red belly, and then we have this or that with his jaw. That. So he's gonna be like a little red belly one, and then his ears are red too. Yeah, these are my gloves. I buy these gloves and I use them for all kind of stuff, and these gloves are really cool. I have no sponsorship on this as of yet, but soon I'll have some sponsorship. I hope so. And but in the meantime, though, this is like gloves that I wear when I go to work. All right, so there's that right behind there. All right, you're gonna be so cool. All right, so what's new? What's new, you're asking me? Well, pretty much what is new is that pretty much, well, that new Predator movie that came out, I would like to see that. You know, at some point, we were hoping to see it last week, but we had a lot of things happen last week, so we couldn't really, unfortunately. And so I'm gonna have to wait a little longer, catch that at a matinee or something on a Tuesday, because you know you can actually see the same movie on Tuesday. I know most people have probably already seen it, and they say most times it's the first couple of days when things are like booming and people come to see stuff. But you know, for the most part, though, here, got this here. Yeah. So for the most part, though, it's like, you know, most people when they see a movie, they see it in the first couple days. But you know, sometimes it's good to see it later, especially when you have like bills to pay and stuff. You know, you want to make sure that you don't just like, you know, go see a movie. But you know, you didn't come here talking about bills and paint some gremlin. You want me to do something awesome. So again, feel free, ask me a question. Ask me a question, and I will answer that question. This is so cool. You know, there was a in He-Man, right? There was this not He-Man, but I think it was She-Ra. She-Ra had Hordak, right? And Hordak had this little dude named Imp, right? And the little Imp guy, I look at him and I think of Imp. Do you think about that? I just like when I was making him, right? There was a part where when you start making this forming these creatures, you don't know exactly what they're gonna look like in the end. It's kind of like things kind of form themselves, you know, and that's what makes it interesting. That's what makes it interesting because they form themselves. They actually are, they kind of like come to fruition, and you have creatures that don't look the same. So you have like this guy here, and he looks like this, and then this one here, he's look like this. But they're going to be like pretty much the same, similar. I think it has to do with the eyes. Like his eyes are already different, right? You have different eyes, and then his eyes are different. His eyes are more like, you know, gator eyes, which I like. And then this one here. So I'm gonna do that. With the other one, when I come to painting the next gremlin now, I need your help for that because I'll show you the colors that I have available, and then from there we're gonna go ahead and proceed. So this one here, I let him dry, all the red parts dry. We'll come back and paint all the black parts, right? And so what I like to do is I usually like to take, when I have an open can of paint or have some paint here on the thing, I do it and I just kind of paint other creatures and stuff, you know? I paint other creatures and paint other things with the same, so that way I don't waste the paint. Because, you know, the thing about acrylic paint is like, it's really cool. It's like a paint with plastic. And, you know, it's pretty nice painting with oil, plastics and stuff. And it seals it really nicely. But then when you have like, let's see, this red, he's black, he's red, he's black, he's black, he's red. Okay, and then he has the spots. So then the spots are going to be different. I'm going to make sure his lip is going to go right there, and then I'm going to have the nice little detail of that later. We'll let him dry. Right, so I'm going to put you over there. I want to put you over here. I'm going to hang you by your tail. You know what tail you have? You have a red tail? Okay, I had to give you a red tail too, because the red tail is like there. So I'm going to hold it this way. I'm going to paint it that way so you guys can see me as I paint the red tail. Red tail! And the thing is, his tail, I mean, his tail like what do you call that guy? Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler's tail, because Nightcrawler was like one of my favorite X-Men in the X-Men of 1997. The ones from 1997, not the ones that stay there from 97. I didn't watch any of those, but I watched the original ones when it came on TV. And anyway, so that was cool. I didn't see all the episodes because you just can't. But I remember it was always so stressed out. They were always stressing out Wolverine and stuff, you know. I remember that. But one of the things I remember, there was Kurt Wagner. He was his tail looked like that. That's the tail of the Nightcrawler. So I have a Nightcrawler too, by the way. I have a Nightcrawler over there because when last year I went to Comic-Con for the very first time, and I was like, this is so cool. But it was also very overwhelming. So You know, I don't know. If you ever been to a Comic-Con, that's something cool. If you've ever been to a Comic-Con, let me know in the chat. What happens is that I went to one. I went to one last year, and I mean I've been to Javits Center before, but so I'd never been for Comic-Con. So I was like, okay, let me go to this one and see how it's like. So I paid a ticket and everything like that, and my ticket was like $75. And so I was like, what am I gonna do with this thing, And I didn't have to wait for it to be shipped in the mail, so I'm happy for that. So mine was I got it at will call, and so I walked in, got it. It was a Thursday. I was like, there's no way I'm going on a Saturday. There's no way I'm going on a Saturday or a Sunday, right? Because I'm like, well, for one, I have to work those days, but for the next part, it's like, that's kind of a lot of energy to do that. So I was like, okay, let me just let me go on a Thursday. So okay, so here it is. Here, I'm gonna put him so you can see him, but I guess I can't. I'm gonna have to just turn the camera a little bit over this way. All right, so I have my people. It's right there. So you have that there. So where should I put you? Okay, so next one now. This is the one I need help with. Let me just go to this one. Should I paint this guy red? Should I paint him red and yellow? Or should I paint him like a purple and yellow? I have a couple colors, but I gotta figure out I'm gonna put this guy real quick. I'm gonna hang you upside down by your ears. Hang you by your ears. I'm gonna put you right up here. Oh, somebody gave me this really nice hanger system thing. I can't tell you who, but it was nice. Nice little gift. Alright, so got that. Got some paint on me. Alright, so cool. Alright, so he's up there. He's doing his thing. Alright, so now I have the paints here, and I want to go ahead and see this one. So now, here's where I need some advice from. Okay, so I could paint him green, right? This guy here, green. And I could paint this guy here purple. But I need you to tell me which one to do. Like which one, I know it's two different things here, but let me show you some of the paints. I got green, and this green is pretty cool. I got blue. The blue is pretty good too. It's very good. I also got this purple paint, right? And the purple paint, I have it over here. The purple paint I have over here. Sorry about that. This one here. This purple paint, I so want to just paint this one with a purple paint, I want to see what it looks like, because one, my wife loves purple, that's her color, and two, I would love to see what it's actually like, just to give it a shot and see what the purple one is. But I also have some red here left over here, so let me know, just really quick, just kind of say yes, purple, or or not, but because he could be purple too. I could paint him purple and then purple, or I could paint him green. I'll give you 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and paint him. I'm gonna paint this one purple. All right. There's that one. I got my. Where's that cup of water? There it is. All right. Let's change our water a little bit. This one here. So we have red. So I'm gonna paint this one here. This is my Diplocallis, real quick, and I'm gonna give him a nice little purple paint. It's a purple paint. Here it goes. So this has never been opened, I don't think, because I don't usually paint with purple. But it can make a really cool, like, decorative, because I made one of blue once, and it turned pretty nice. So here's blue, it's purple. All right, so here, let's see, let's suck it back up. And there's two ways to do this. You can actually just pour it right onto it, which sometimes I do that because it makes a really cool effect. The other way is that you can put it on the dash and then dash it. I'm gonna pour it right down his back, right? Since I have the paint in my hand, pour it right down his back. So you have that. All right, and give it a nice purple. And this purple is called iris. Purple iris. This good acrylic. Let's go ahead and paint this sucker, shall we? All right, I'm gonna mix it with the reds. All right, here it goes. Like that, see? Can you guys see it? You guys see this? All right, let me know. All right, cool. Because sometimes like the signal goes out and it's all blurry and choppy and stuff, and then I lose a bunch of people. And sometimes I get like a bunch of people watching and I don't even know it. I'm like, oh wow, a lot of people watching. So here's this one here. So this is like nice little purpley purple. And so there's this thing I have called pour paint, and I wanted to use pour paint so badly, but it takes 24 hours to dry. I like paint that dries pretty quickly, because if you don't dry it pretty quickly, what happens is that it becomes it runs. And my life doesn't need things to run. Oh no, did I just mess with my, oh goodness. Oh my goodness. Alright, so just put purple on this yellow pants. It reminds me of the colors? Oh my goodness. Okay, this is what because okay, there's a comic book character, right? Used to be on MTV. And this is the colors. This is the colors. Y'all know the name of it? You know the name of the character? It's purple and yellow. I mean, well, there's there's several of them, purple and yellow, but this one here looks just like the one that I thought of, like from MTV, many years ago. Anybody ever see that show? I'll just say it. It's called the Max. The Max. And he had like really big teeth, you know? Really, really big feet, really, really big teeth. And so with that, he had he was like he was going between worlds, and I wasn't. I haven't. I gotta watch it again as I'm older and understand better, because I remember seeing it when I was younger, and it didn't quite make sense to me. It didn't quite make sense to me because he was just like one of those characters that like you weren't sure if he was actually in a real situation, but there was like I forget the name of the guy. I want to say Mr. Fix-It, but no, it's some kind of like doctor, and he had to, the way they had to kill him was chop off his head, and that was an interesting thing. And I was just like, remember that, and it was he had a thing with the Izzes, and the Izzes were these little creatures that were like, they were smiley things, and then they got really dark, and they turned into like smiley, sharp, teethy looking things, and they all grabbing him, and he was like just he had this big old claw, like the middle finger was like there was a big old claw right in the middle finger, and that was kind of that, and he was like that with his orange gloves, and these were his colors. The colors, those are his colors. So that's interesting. So yeah, so that show just kind of brought back, a couple of thoughts. This pattern, but also Thanos. These are Thanos colors, Thanos from the Avengers. This is his colors too. It was interesting that I think the light that I have here, it's like what happens is that it reacts to me funny. So I'm gonna bring the camera just a little bit closer. That might be a little bit closer to me. So yeah, I'm more in the scene. So let me know if this is better, if you guys like this better. But so here's that. All right, there's that. I'm gonna go ahead and just I'm holding him by his chin beard, and I'm just kind of painting him like this. And so this is just me trying to get all the colors covered well. I remember before I didn't used to do this. I used to paint all my stuff because it would be like, this takes a while to do. And there's an aspect, so whenever I do my classes, I tend not to paint, even though I really want to. What happens is like to make something like this and then to paint it takes such work, because when you have it, you have to make sure that the tape is ready and that the sculpture is at capacity, because like, see, he's not just like a little tape thingy. He's actually has texture to him. He's got like thickness. See his arms, his muscles and stuff like that. He's got like girth and thickness, because what happens is like he's like, he or she, I guess, but no more like he's got, what do you call it? He's got like a thickness because of the fact that it's that he's what's the word now? He has layers of tape. So it's not just like one layer and you're good to go. So that's something that's kind of impossible to do unless we're doing the first cycle we're doing in our class. First thing we do, we're trying our best to make sure that it's like you get the basic routine of the sculpture. Then after that you add the more details to it. But again, so definitely ask me any questions, and then I'll be able to answer some of your questions. If you guys want to just ask me a question about anything, like, yeah, I live here in New York City, and what I think about what's going on. I think it's terrible. That's what I think, in case you're wondering. But for the most part, though, see this one here, I could probably put some really cool, like, cool art pieces on it. So see, this is also cool. This doesn't waste any art, by the way, or any ink, because when I do this way, I pour it directly. And he looks like a pretty beefy Diplocaulus, or like what I call Diplocaulitans. But Diplocaulitans have 5 fingers, so there's I only have one set of Diplocaulitans. This is more like a Diplocaulus. I don't know why I fell in love with these things. I mean, I always talk about why, but it's just like, I think it was because it was originally it was pitch black. The monsters in pitch black, they have like the Bioraptors, they have a cross this way, like this and that, and their head has another bladey thing. So that's with them. So I don't know, when I found that they're just creatures in the Museum of Natural History, I was like, oh my word, this is too cool. Like a hammerhead salamander. Yeah, so cool. Even though hammerhead salamanders wouldn't work in my world, because my world is ocean, and I love ocean stuff, and then salamanders don't live. There's no amphibians in the ocean, So I don't know, just a special breed, I guess. Special breed of amphibian. So special breed of amphibian, so that can handle the ocean. So maybe it's not amphibian at all, because I mean, like, the fresh water is what frogs can handle, but they can't handle the acidity of the ocean water. It would cause their livers to explode, their liver and kidney to explode, because it has to filter out all that stuff, Just like how we can't drink it, salt water, and we have no filtration system. their bodies is the filtration system. So if you were, for example, to actually have a frog land in the ocean, that thing would just burn. It would just burn. Like what happens when you put like salt on snails, or salt on slugs, that kind of thing. That's what I think. I could be wrong, but there are no saltwater amphibians. Okay, all amphibians are freshwater. Go figure. So there's that. So this is one. So I'm gonna just kind of go through and make sure that it's going pretty good here. I'm gonna back up the camera just a little bit because I have it too close to me. All right, so there's that. So you can actually see some of the things I'm working on. All right, so for the most part though, let's see. Let's talk about something, shall we? Let's talk about some deep things. All right, I was having a conversation with one of my friends the other day, and we were talking about like this thing of forgiveness, and forgiveness is one of those things about like how, we're just mentioning about how things work out, how people, how do you know how to forgive a person when people have really wronged you? How do you do that? And that's actually a tough question because some people do some really bad things to people, and it's hard to forgive. But it's like I was talking the other day about the whole thing with the talents, right? And I mentioned on my short that there's a talent thing, right, where talent is worth about 600,000 American dollars, right, USD. 600,000, 600, comma 000, 600,000. That's on 400,000 from $1 million. Now the Bible talks about how there was a guy, he was given, one was given 5, one was given 2, one was given 1 talent, so 5 talents, 2 talents, and 1 talent. The one who got 5, he took it and he made 5 more, so that became if each talent is 600,000, 600,000 times 5, right? You're looking at 600,000. That's 6. My math is a little crazy with the zeros, but let's see. So I know that 6 and 5 is 30, right? So you're looking at 6 and 5 is 30, and then if you went 6 and 10, that'd be 60, right? So 60, and if you add the zeros to that with 600,000, you're looking at either $60 million or $60 million, right? You made $60 million. The second one, he had 2 talents, and each talent is 600. That's 1,200, right? $1,600,000, $1,200,000. Yes, $1,200,000, right? That's that one. Then you have it, if you double it, that's $2,400,000, right? And the last guy, what he got was this, right? He got 1 talent worth $600,000, and you know what he did? The Bible said that he buried his talent in the ground. And I keep coming back to this because for me, I keep thinking about like talent and skill and ability. But in this situation, let's just say talent is life. He took his life and he buried it in the ground. So even though it was money, $600,000 is nothing to shake a stick at. Most people don't make $600,000 in their lifetime, right? But if you have that much life, that much money, and you're able to do that, 600,000, and then he just buried it in the ground. He said the master was mad at him, and he even insulted the master and said, hey, listen, I know that you gave me this, and this is great, but I didn't want it to waste it, and I know that pretty much you're going to bother me for it later, so what I did was I took it and I buried it in the ground. And he's like, why didn't you take it and put it in the bank, at least make some interest on it? You gave me back exactly what I gave you, you didn't give me anything more, you didn't give me anything better, so he said, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the one that you got, I'm going to give it to the one who had 10, and now he has 11. So this is good. So here's this guy here, he's done. Well, I'm going to let him dry now. I'm going to put him somewhere he can dry. I'm going to put him over here. Well, that's kind of gross. Let me see. Oh, I have all these. Put this. Okay, down here. Okay, paintbrush down there. Down. Now, this is the one we've all been waiting for. This guy here. Before I do this, you guys want me to paint this pregnant lady? You want to see a pregnant lady be painted? Fat belly pregnant lady. You want to see that? Or you want me just to paint the gremlin? Well, this is cool because I've been meaning to do this, and this is pretty cool for me. So let me get a picture of this guy here real quick. So here's this guy here. This one. All right. I gotta paint his tongue too, so his tongue needs to be painted. For the most part, though, there's that. I was reading the scriptures today. I was reading the book of James, chapter 1, and I read through the whole James chapter 1 because James is an awesome passage of scripture. They say there's certain passages in the Bible that are like you read it for narration, but certain books of the Bible you read it for application, right? And so with the application, you have it where, all right. Before I do this, before I say that, let's see this one here. I need advice. What color should I paint this guy? Should I paint him green? Should I paint him blue? I'm gonna take out these stickers out of his ears for a little bit. All right, take right there. Get rid of these stickers because you can't really paint it with these stickers in his ears. So. Oh. Try not to break it, you know? I'm gonna have to tear it. Sorry, bro. Gonna tear your ears. No! Uh-huh. Oh, goodness. You know, I'm gonna have to just tear it out. Like this. Okay, it's alright. Ah, okay, good. Tore that one. Ugh, terrible. Okay, so I got that here. Alright, so here's that. Alright, so now he's without it. He's like, I'm scary looking. Right, yes you are. Yes, indeed, you are very scary looking. Yes! Yeah, he's got his teeth, and his teeth are there. Yep. Okay, so what we're gonna do is this, right? I'm gonna paint him. I haven't figured out a color yet. If you can give me an idea what kind of color to paint, you know. But if not, then I'm just gonna go ahead with my own druthers. Okay, so we have here purple. I don't have a purple gremlin. I'm about to. You want to be purple? Do you want to be purple or yellow? I don't have a purple one. We're gonna have a purple one right now. Let's go. So this one here. So gonna make you purple and black. You're gonna be purple and black one. I don't have a purple and black one, do I? I do not. All right. So first and foremost, we're gonna pour it right on your. You need some work, actually. You need some work. Let me fix you up real quick. Right there. You need some work before you continue. All right. So here we go. So okay. So what I was saying, okay, so Book of James is actually an application passage, right? And one of the things when I was like in ministry, we had to memorize that. One of the summers, see, I have like a lot of things I've gone through and been through, you know. And one of the things was that we did this ministry, like a street preaching ministry, where we draw pictures on the street. We go into Times Square and we draw pictures like on a canvas board, and it was so cool. We did this from the years, a couple years back. All right, so I won't tell you exactly. But if you were to find out, it's pretty cool. So we got like canvas boards, and this is like the evolution of that. These creatures that I'm making here are evolution of that. So I give full credit, you know, to that because I've learned a lot of things in regarding this. So yeah, so one of the things I liked was that we were able to meet people and talk to people. When I was in high school, I had a club, a Christian club in my high school. I put it together, and I was like, you know, just wanting to make a difference in my high school. And people would come to fight. I call it the fight club. People would come just to fight, and they bring all their different doctrines, all the different things, and we would just talk about stuff. We just talk and talk and talk and talk. And it was like, you know, there's our teacher, Miss Melnick, God rest her soul. She's no longer with us on planet Earth, but she was an awesome teacher, and I really, really loved her. She was awesome. She's a wonderful teacher. She was very she was the one who gave me an opportunity to have this Christian club in my school. So shout out to Miss Melnick. You know, Mrs. Melnick. She was really cool. And so, what happened was, like, I wrote a paper about angels, you know, talking about angels and about how angels work in terms of the scripture. There was a book I was reading, you know, and I didn't know as much then as I do now about angels. But the thing is that we're not even supposed to really study angels according to scripture. We're not supposed to like mess with them. It's a whole realm in and of itself that we have no idea about, and we're not supposed to mess with that. It's like the whole thing, like with psychics and stuff. We're not supposed to be like psychic. So people who are like, "Oh, I'm psychic," I'm like, "Yeah, okay, sure." Because the thing is, like, you know, that's only God knows the future, and it's true. So what happens is that there's certain entities out there that are non-human, and I mean, there's, you know, we see them all the time. There's like animals and plants and microbes and things, you know, things like that are not human. And so what ends up happening is, like, you know, there's other like powerful things out there that are non-human, you know, and we're not supposed to mess with those. According like to scripture, we're not supposed to seek those out, you know. But when I wrote a paper, I talked about different types of angels, the guardian angels and stuff, you know, not the guardian angels of, you know, of silver or anything, but guardian angels like people who are like, you know, angels who guard people. Right, and they mentioned that you know, there's the way they come to about that was saying about how there's little kids that are protected by them, and so people kind of extrapolate. There's also, they said, ministering spirits, ones that are ministering to people and giving them understanding about stuff, you know, so they can actually, you know, come to God, come to the Lord, you know, and how the Lord directs them, you know. So there are people in other countries who don't have. See how it was when we were learning in Bible school. They explained this thing called creation of Christ, you know, and what it meant is that there is when you meet a tribe or a group of people who never met or had the Word of God, for example, the King James Bible, right? What happened was like, God had given, God has spoken in different times in Revelations, different ways. He spoke to people through things, but according to scriptures, according to the first century, that in times past God spoke through dreams and visions and stuff, but in these times past He's chosen to speak through His Word and through His Son, He's spoken through His Son, Lord Jesus. So what happens is like, when you have this scenario, you're running into where people who never heard about Jesus didn't get a chance to hear. Because what about people in the woods or those who never hear? That was always a concern for. That was most times in missionary school. Like I went to missionary school, they would always have that question about like, what would happen to those people who never heard? Yeah. And they said, well, people who die without Jesus, without hearing about Him, they have to face eternal wrath without Him. But their judgment is less than those who have grown up hearing about Jesus. And I was thinking about that. People that use Jesus' name as a curse word. Oh my goodness. Those who use Jesus' name as a curse word, they should really stop that, because you're taking the answers, like the cure to cancer, the cure to every problem, and make it into a vain thing, and make it into a profane thing. So that means that it's like a thing that's, that's kind of useless, taking the name of Jesus, until people don't even think of it as anything. And so I always can tell who's a Christian by when they say Jesus' name, because the Christian won't say Jesus' name, right? Just out of frustration, But and that's some of the things there. But we've seen different actors do that, and that really frustrated us, because like when it comes to Jesus, the name of Jesus, it should be a name above all names, a name above all names that no one should like make fun of. His name should be like really, really, really honored, and people should definitely like look at His name, because He did something no one else has ever done. He forgave His enemies with His own blood, with His own blood. He came to people. The Bible said God demonstrated His love for us, and that while we're still enemies, Christ died for us, And that's crazy, because when you think about that, right, it's like He did this thing for us while we were still not His friends, And I think about that a lot. Wait, I do have a purple gremlin. I have a Lori purple gremlin. I do. Okay, so that's the purple one. Put that this color purple. Maybe red and purple. Maybe I'll make this one red and black too. I don't know. I haven't thought it through yet. That's why I need some advice as to which one I want to do. Anyway, so that's one. Let's see. But for the most part, what I was saying before was like, I lost my train of thought. I lost my train of thought. What were we saying? He paid for His own blood. Oh, God demonstrated His own love towards us, and while we were sinners, Christ died for us. Jesus died on the cross for sinners. He died to set us free and to make us into new people. We weren't going to be sinners all our life. Like there's that movie, Sinners, and oh my goodness. Sometimes it's not good to listen to people. I've come to understand when people recommend movies, sometimes you don't go to see it. And I'm going to recommend you some movies, and probably not going to see it, but pretty much when people recommend you to go see a thing and you see it, it has this aspect of like, you have the anticipation it's going to be on your level, but sometimes it's not. You don't really know the people who tell you to recommend movies. Like I'll never forget when I was 87, someone said to me, "Oh, I should watch the movie RoboCop," right? And that movie was funny, they said. And I was like, funny? What do you mean funny? So I was like, yeah, hilarious, funny, it's great. So, I didn't understand at that point that people have different levels of what funny means, And so what happened was like, it wasn't funny. That movie was not funny. That movie traumatized me, okay? It traumatized me. There's certain movies in my life that traumatized me, and it wasn't funny. And later, I appreciated it later. But when I was a kid watching it, with the idea thinking this is going to be a funny kiddie thing or something, like Batman, like the Batman 1960s version of Batman, the one, the campy one. Then they bust out with 1989's Batman, and he's not a campy version of Batman. He's a violent version of Batman. He's a lawbreaker. Yeah, that one, that wasn't good. That was nice. Yeah, I know that Tim Burton had a thing, but for the most part, though, it's like when you look at that, you start realizing that there are people who just want to mess things up for children. They just want to do that. Take away kids' innocence. That's terrible stuff. Kids should stay as innocent as long as possible. That's for sure. Keep them innocent as long as possible, because the world is very, very harsh to adults. Very harsh to adults. Very harsh to people in general. So leave them kids alone, like the song says, right? So, but it was saying teachers, it was kids alone. But I gotta look up why he said that. Why Fleetwood Mac say that? Pink Floyd say like leave the kids. Is it Pink Floyd or Fleetwood Mac? Pink Floyd. I think it's Pink Floyd. Yeah, Pink Floyd. I gotta look it up. You tell me. Okay. I think it's Fleetwood Mac. Okay, well, now I gotta look it up. So anyway, so the most part though, so yeah, I'm kind of giving him more layers so that when I work on painting him, he'll have more of a surface to work with. It's like his face is so monkey-like. Oh my goodness, he's such a monkey-looking face. I think I might change his eyes. Let me just pluck his eyes out real quick. Optic nerves. There's so many optic nerves. Every time I hear the word optic nerve, I think about like inner space, where it's like you're now beyond the optic nerve. And it's like that's where I had that. What's his name? And then he had like Martin Short, and he shot him in the eye. And like razor hot pokers went through my eyes. I was like, oh my goodness. You know, honestly, I don't think he would actually have felt that, because it's like they say that it's so far away. You know, the nerve endings. I remember my sister did this experiment to me when I was a kid about like how you have to have a certain number of nerve endings together, close enough in proximity for you to feel a thing. So you had like a needle test, right? And she poked me with little needles and stuff, right? And then the needles were like, you know, they had it measured by a certain number of inches. And so how many needles do you feel? Feel one or two? I guess maybe if I didn't feel any, it'd be something. But I guess, I don't know. But in that movie, they had a thing, right? You shot to see an eye to see what's in the back of the retina. Oh goodness, man. That movie was so fun. They don't make movies like that anymore. Where you just kind of like, I guess that would be like a body horror, body horror movie. Yep, Inner Space. I never forget that movie too. It's like there's a part where he says like, you know, he's a part where he's like, oh, should we re-enlarge while he's inside? Oh, we're gonna get him out of a tear duct or a sweat gland or something. He said, no, why don't we just re-enlarge? It's like, you know what kind of mess that would make? And I was like, ah. I remember that stayed with me forever. That haunted my dreams, man. That phrase. You know what kind of mess that would make, right? So that's how it is. That's how it goes, you know. All right, so let me see. Let me see if we give a paint. Do I have a gray one? I have a gray one. I don't think I have a gray gremlin. I have gray paint here, red and gray. Red Billy, gray paint. I don't know. Let me see. Blue, green, black, brown, gray, black and gray. Oh, this is a burnt sienna. Burnt sienna. Imagine a burnt sienna one with some gray. Oh, that would be cool. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna make you. Okay, so this might be cool. Burnt sienna. So burnt sienna. So I have a nice brown one. It's gonna be a brown and black. I don't know. Maybe I don't want it to be too. I want it like outlandish, but I don't want it to be too. There's a green one. Just burn green. And another green. White, black. I don't know. There's a green one. Oh, you know, I could make him a Ninja Turtle green. Oh, green and black. All right, let's make him brown. We can make him brown. Watch this. All right, so I got a brown right there. I'm gonna make you brown right on your nose, baby. Uh-huh. Right on your little buddy. There you go. All right, so here goes. This right here, he's got brown. Brown right there. Little brown belly and brown legs, right? And I got a brown face right there. Brown jaw. Little brown gremlin. Oh, you know, I have an idea. Well, I don't know. Maybe. Let's see how it works out. I made one that was the Woman King once. A customer requested I make a gremlin look like the Woman King. And that was fun, actually. Gave her the hair and everything like that. That was just so cool. The Woman King. That movie was cool. I liked it. We watched that movie so many times. Oh my god, we liked it so much. It was such a cool movie. It was like, it was so what we didn't expect. That's the thing, like when you watch movies that people tell you they don't watch, you know. So we watched it, and we were just like, let's give it a shot. See, and the thing is, what I really miss, and I know many people like the whole streaming service thing and all that, but me personally, I absolutely love going to the Redbox and getting a Redbox movie and then after the Redbox thing, you get a chance to kind of go and rent it, and you get to watch it, and then you get a chance to see the extra features. Like, see, I've been watching like a lot of Star Trek the last couple of weeks, right? Because we were just kind of finishing up the whole Star Trek thing, and so with my kids, right, we have all the extra features. We watched all the extra features, right, of how they put Star Trek: The Next Generation together, and it was just a wonderful thing. We were just like, this is one of those things that as you're doing this, you're like, oh my goodness, this is such a cool movie and a cool extra feature. We haven't seen the Generations yet. I've seen Generations, but my kids haven't yet. And then, we're gonna see those, and we're gonna see some of the extra feature ones. The like we watched the First Contact, which was fun. That was a fun movie. Then we have then we had the next one, which we have to watch, Nemesis, and I guess Insurrection. Those are the ones we have to watch. I haven't seen Nemesis, and I don't know. We also have Deep Space Nine, so we were gonna start on Deep Space Nine, but I was like, I'm not sure if I want to go ahead and start on Deep Space Nine, at least not yet, because what happens is like my son wants to watch the Ninja Turtle movies, so what we do, we actually buy like the box set, and then we watch the box set. I remember back in the day when I used to go to Borders bookstore, and there'd be thousands and thousands of box sets just all over the place. And everything was so expensive, couldn't afford it. And now the only place you find a box set is at Walmart. They don't have movies anywhere else anymore. It's just like all the movies that you can get, movies you can find, they're nowhere but Walmart. And so that's where it makes it kind of crazy, because you have to go all the way out to Walmart to find one. And so for me, it's like that's kind of something, because when you think about having to travel all the way out to Walmart, it's like, I don't know, it's one of those things where it's fun, but at the same time there was a lot of work, because you just can't like just up and go, and then it has to be a special trip, and you have to have a certain amount of money, and you have to go on a certain day because there's paycheck, and then there's you have to figure out what's the best time and all these things. And so when we do go and we get a box set, we have to take some months for us to work through it. That's great. And so my kids, like, I've now shown my kids pretty much almost all the movies I've seen when I was a kid. Not all of them, but a lot of them that I've seen when I was a kid. I didn't show them RoboCop or anything like that, the original one. I showed them some of the scenes from RoboCop. But when it comes down to the original movie, I didn't show them the ones from the original, because the original one was just, it was just straight up violent. It was a violent movie, and I don't know. It was just sad that the way they killed Murphy and stuff. That was just not that good, and that was just terrible. So yeah, and so when a person recommended me to go see that when I was a kid, they pretty much lied. So now whenever somebody recommends something, I would take it with a grain of salt. I'm like, okay, well, just because you recommend it, that doesn't mean I have to take it. And so that's what happens. I usually don't listen to it. I usually say, okay, that's good, great. I try and research it before I see it, so I don't shock myself. Like, a friend of mine once, he saw a movie, Event Horizon and stuff like that. And he said he was telling it to me, and that movie freaked me out. And I never got a chance to see it. So finally, when I got a chance to see it, it was like, you know what? This movie is not as bad as how I thought it was going to be, but it's actually like, it's still kind of jump scared and freaky stuff. And it was like a scary movie, scary movie, So yeah, that's kind of there with that, the whole scenario there. So yeah, so I don't know. It's the thing about scary movies. I don't know if I like scary movies so much. Yeah, I might painting a gremlin and stuff, a gremlin, and make it like look all freaky and scary looking. But yeah, but I'm just saying that it's just. I'm gonna fix you up a little bit. Let me give you some brown so you're not so scary looking. Yeah, make it so you're not as scary looking as you can be. Yeah, let's see a little bit better. Make you just a little less scary. Paint the inside of your eyes. Wait for you to dry so we can give you some more paint. I have to scratch you up a little bit there. Yeah, it goes. Alright, so my dealings today. So yeah, so this is my painting outside of his eyes. I got this here. Yo, he looks so scary. I don't know. You just and that looks so meaty and goodness and fleshy. I should have gone with a lighter color. I don't know. If brown isn't the best color for you. Maybe that make it look nicer. I don't know. We'll see. Looks like you look like tree bark, like flesh. It's like flesh. Like, I look like flesh, don't I? Maybe it's the eyeballs. I can change the eyeballs out. I don't know. Don't know. Give it a second coat. Okay. Mm. So, alright, so make the top of your hand brown. Okay, I'm gonna figure out what color to put. Maybe I put gray and brown. I don't know. Black and brown. Yeah, black and brown would be cool. Yeah, black and brown. This is my black and Latino gremlin, huh? Black and brown, right? So, so yeah, so this is him here. Yeah, I'm wearing one of my favorite shirts, my Cartoon Network shirts. I'm gonna go jump in the shower in a little bit. My wife wrapped my foot for me, so it's all under a wrap, and it's really nice. It feels much better, but just knowing that there's, you know, I had to go back to work and stand for the whole day, that could be something problematic. I have to kind of think of things through. You know, one of the things is like, I've been working on a program. I'll tell you more about it in the future, but I'm trying to get this program going because I like just kind of doing these things where I'm sitting here just kind of making stuff. And so there's a couple of programs that I'm working on that I'm going to try and get this incorporated into every one of my videos. So it's going to be a while before I get it done, but when I get it done, it's going to be great. So, but the most part though, right now I'm taking tutorials for the classes and gonna make it into something really cool. Yeah, because you know what, you can do anything honestly. Just just as long as you don't diss God, or bring shame to your family, you can do pretty much anything in this world. But sometimes people think you get shame if you don't do exactly what they say for you to do. But then later they realize, oh wow, that's great. You're able to accomplish a lot of things. So there's that. So yeah, definitely do that. He is scary looking. Reminds me like a Godzilla. I gotta give you a different paint. I don't know. I probably should paint you orange or something. I don't know. We'll see. I can't find my gua paint. My gua paint is just missing. I just don't know where it is. And it's just don't know where it is. So, alright, so this one here. This is here. And I let him dry so I can paint the back. In the meantime, we'll go back to the red one. Here's that one. Alright. Gotta drop this in there. Back to the red one. I'm gonna paint him some black. Let's do this. Here we go. Red. I'm gonna paint him black. Let's go. Break the chain. So, what's this one here? I probably should have reached for the thing first before I did this. Alright, can you see the black ink? You probably can't. I have to move the camera back a little bit. Move the camera back just a little bit so you can see the black. The black ink. There's this one. So I'm going to use the black ink and we're going to paint you. Let's get ready. You have the black top. Let's go. You have black hands. Black hands, black hands, black hands. He's bad. Alright, so you have the black hand right here. First one is black hand. Alright, so that. Black hands. His toes are right. Okay, so there. Alright, got this here. Try to do it this way so you can see me as I do it. See, I guess it's probably better just to have it on the thing. Yeah. Ah, it's painful. I'm kind of raising up my leg so it doesn't like spill the paint, and it's putting tremendous pressure on my foot, which is like, oh my goodness, right? All right, here's this. Oh my word, it's like a scratch in my hand. Isn't that crazy? You get on the scratch, crazy scratches. All right, so I got a scratch at it. You know, the black and red works really well, especially with the gremlins. Black and red, man. Looks so nice. Look at that. Let's shoot this one. Okay, black and red. If I just stopped it right there, it'd be like so cool. It'd be like a mulatto, or like one of those Frenchies, Frenchy dogs. Yo, I like this one. I gotta give her a nice name. I'm gonna call it what? Imp? It's like 4 legs. Billy with 4 legs. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is the right paint. This paint would actually be like one of those things that like it just kind of like flows, but doesn't flow well. I don't know, see, because like. Yeah, I was watching the next Transformer movie after the Dark of the Moon one, and it bothered me so much. I don't know what it was. I fell asleep. I wanted to see the the Dinobots and all that, you know, and see how they're, you know. I saw it and watched it several times, and it's just like, I don't know. It's just it's not as good. Dark of the Moon. I've seen Dark of the Moon so many times. I could sit there and watch Dark of the Moon from start to finish, no skipping, like 20 times. I just absolutely adore that film. I don't know. It's just the way they did it was so good. They did a really good job with it. It's like they had you to the end, and pretty much when he's fighting Sentinel Prime, which is Leonard Nimoy. I mean, they had so many like people in this. You know, so many like really good quality people in this movie of Dark of the Moon, and I was just like, this movie is great. The more I watch it, the more I love it. And so then when I watched the next one, which is like Age of Extinction, I was just like, I don't know what Age of Extinction even means, you know. But Dark of the Moon, I mean, it's just something that sucked up really nicely. It was one of those things that the more I watch it, the more I like it. It has the whole thing with the whole moon landing in there. You got the, you know, Sentinel Prime. You got the, you know, defeating Megatron at the end. So many things, and it just did a great job. So then when I get to the one last night, I'm like, whatever, man. I was like, forget this. I was totally turned off to the whole to the whole what do you call that thing? Transformers. Michael Bay Transformers. Until it brought Bumblebee. Bumblebee brought it back. I was like, okay. And I haven't watched the Beast Wars one. I haven't gotten to any other ones. Year One, all that stuff. I didn't do any of those things. I just said, forget it. I'm just not feeling them, you know. Not feeling them anymore, because what happens is, like, you know, just the whole thing about it was like they just, I don't know, they did something. They took my childhood and all my Transformers thing, and they just turned it into merchandise. And then it was raunchy. The second Transformers was like, yeah. I remember we saw the first Transformers in the theaters. And all the jokes, my goodness. Poor Shia LaBeouf. Poor guy. But yeah, so he was able to do that, and then the second movie was different, and then I like the darker the moon. I just that's my favorite one. I kid you not. I look at that one and I go watch it 100 times. I have watched it 100 times. It's my go-to video whenever I want to watch a Transformers thing. Just sit there and watch it. It's just great. It had, Patrick Dempsey in there. You had all these different people. You had like Buzz Aldrin in there. Goodness. You had all. I mean, they did. That movie was great. Okay. And then so I mean like they did a really good job. So I'm just ranting about this thing. But here he goes. This guy here is what you have. So he's looking like. So he's starting to look like his So this. Right. So yeah, this is kind of the thing. So I just got to get the parts. See, the thing is you have to figure out how to hold these guys, right, without getting paint, and I also got to make it the colors match up. So it's a matter of using this acrylic paint to paint this guy the right colors. And I mean, again, I love this stuff. This is fun. This is really fun for me. You see that right there? All right, I got to give him the under the lip thing. Under the lip thing. So I got to just get the paints just right onto the legs. And then you have to make sure you bend it because I remember I was doing this thing, and a friend of mine, she was saying that you have to kind of bend the knuckles so that you can actually get within the thing. So when it bends, you don't you get it into the cracks, So I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. Actually, you have that, right? You have that, right? So he's not finished yet. I got to get both sides of his tail. The thing about like the injury I got to my foot is that's my driving foot too, So my driving foot is like messed up. We were still hoping to go and do some more stuff, but we were able to do some. I have like videos on my Instagram. We went to BJ's, and it's just like pretty much got a chance to ride those motorized scooter thing. That was fun. That was fun because it was like I don't usually ride those things because I just don't ever feel justified riding it. But yesterday was my day. Yep, I got a chance to ride a motorized scooter. All right, gotta hold it like this. All right, so wow, an hour and 7 minutes. Oh my goodness. Okay, all right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see if I can speed this up because that means we painted two gremlins and one Diplocalus, and then I need to get more paint. Oh, this one's open. Okay, this one might be thicker, and if it's thicker, I can get it like sneezed on the beat. Oh, this is better. The other one is more liquidy. Okay, cool. This one, yeah, this is good. This is the one I need. This is the thick paint. Yeah, yes. Yeah, yes. There you go. There's the one. There you have it. Top of the tail. See, the question is, like, do you make, some people said not to, there's a guy I listen to, and he's always saying about your coworkers aren't your friends and stuff. And I realize that we're all kind of, in the same trip together, going the same way, but I don't know. I mean, maybe they are. I mean, how was my wife and I, how we met, we were friends, and it was pretty much, we were married. So I don't know if that's a 100% absolute statement. I just feel it's one of those things where it's like sometimes people talk about stuff, and they say that having your coworkers are your not your friends because they're trying to get the corporate ladder, or they could sabotage you in any second. I mean, I had a situation happen like that once when one of my coworkers started talking to the boss in front of me about certain things that I don't do, to which the boss kind of pulled me aside and asked me if I could do those things for them, and I'm like, no, kind of thing. Not like a bad thing, but it's like pretty much, it's like I don't want to tell you what, but it's just like they had a thing where it's like just it was like it's one of those things where it's like sometimes maybe it is good for them not to know too much about your life and what you're capable of doing, so it's like kind of get it out of the way because sometimes people look for you, they want to know about what your life's about, and they want to just kind of start searching your stuff. So sometimes it's better just to not tell them anything. But the other time too is maybe it's good to tell people stuff because at that point then you have like you have the leg up in the game. It's kind of like if you tell them an embarrassing story, they don't have an embarrassing story to top the embarrassing story you just told them, so they kind of leave you alone. They're like, well, person can't, I can't get one up on this person because this person has a scary story already. That kind of thing, you know? As opposed to like, you're trying to be prim and proper and everything, and you have like no ghost stories, no war stories, and they find out about your war stories later, and then make it hard for you to kind of reclaim your image. It's better just you be the one, like the samurai, you fall upon your own sword kind of thing, as opposed to letting somebody else direct. I don't know. I'm just talking, I guess. But for the most part, though, it's like one of those things where I'm almost done with this guy here. Okay. All right. So, what have we spoken about? We talked about James and talked about. This morning I was reading the scriptures and I was reading John chapter 7 and John chapter 8. If you get a chance to read that, that's a wonderful passage of scripture. Talks about, well, if you just read it, you'll find out. John chapter 7 and John chapter 8, and also James chapter 1. I actually read the whole book of James. If you can memorize the book of James, that'd be awesome, because the book of James is great in the Bible, right? And it's all practical stuff. It's all talking about like how to apply things. Like, for example, I was talking to somebody, right? And people always say this, is that if you're nice to me, I'll be nice to you, kind of thing, right? And people say that, right? And I think that's no skin in the game. That's no skin off anyone's back, because, if somebody's nice to you, you're nice back to them. But the thing is, like, what happens to most people is, like, people betray people, right? So the thing is, the way I've come to understand things, sometimes the people who are mean to you are actually nicer to you than people who are nice to you. It's just, I don't know why that is, but it just seems like the people who are mean or seem mean, they don't know how to hold back the facade. They need to be just straight up truthful, and they can't play the game. So they want to find real people as quick as possible. Whereas those people who are nice, those people who are nice or appear nice, what happens is that they tend to have like a lot of things they're holding back, and so they're able to kind of hide the darkness better, than those who are just outwardly mean. And then there's that thing about like the people who are who are just weird, and you think those people are just like kind of like misunderstood, when in fact they're just really just weird. And that's the thing there too. You have to kind of deal with, because sometimes, and that's something there when you try and teach your kids stuff about like how to deal with people. That's one of those very confusing things. So it's like almost like the lesson I wanted my kids to learn this summer was how when you do stuff right, you're still at the mercy of those who do it wrong, and you're still get punished for doing the right thing. And I want them to learn a lesson, because what happened, that's like the ultimate. That's when you prove your worth, and you understand that your worth doesn't come from the things you do or people who you encounter. Your worth comes from the Most High, Lord Most High. And then that means that God gives you the worth, and you're under Him. So if He says you're a child of God, you're a child of the King, that worth more. That is worth more than somebody coming to you and saying, hey, you look nice, or your hair's cool, or whatever. That's worth more, because those things of God, the one who made you, is like, yo, right? That's better than someone who's just merely observing you from the outside, And that's something that I think about. Like, if you get praise from your parents, right? Your parents praise you. That's awesome. If your parents don't praise you, and you have like weird jerk parents who, are psycho, whatever, they don't know what they're doing. Still the Bible says, if my father and mother forsake me, the Lord will take me up. And that's where, again, it goes back to God and His awesomeness, because sometimes parents will let the kids down. They do, and such is life. So the thing is, like, so when people say about, oh, they'll be nice to those who be nice to you, I think about what Jesus did and how He was friends of sinners, and when He died on the cross, He was innocent of every sin that He's dying for. Jesus didn't commit a single sin. If anything, the only sin He might have committed was he ticked off the Pharisees and stuff, ticked off the rulers of the day. But who doesn't do that, right? So, but for the most part, and seeing that that's not a sin before God, my friend, that's awesome to know that He didn't sin against God, even that. So He was a perfect person, but when He died for my sins on that cross, He did it for every bad thing I didn't even done yet. I wasn't even born when He died on the cross for my sins. I mean, that's obvious. It's kind of given for every one of us. That none of us were born when He died on the cross for our sins. But yeah, so the most part, though, is when you have this thing here, it's like, you look at that, and so what's the criteria? I guess the wisdom of it, like, you just can't be a blanket statement, like, oh, okay, I'll be nice to everybody. You can't do that. And you also can't be, like, mean to everybody. You have to have that balance of, like, all right, you know what? He says he just like, Father, forgive them. While he's on the cross being crucified, he's dying on the cross. He's like, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do, right? And it's like, because I mean, if they did know what they were doing, and that's the crazy thing about the scriptures, right? It's like it shows scripture doesn't pull any punches. It shows people how bad they really, really, really are as compared to God's righteousness, and how we really need a savior. Because you talk about people and they say, "Oh, I'm a nice person." Oh, I love when people say that because, like, the next thing is like, "Let me show you how nice you are," But you can't really because you have to kind of give them mercy. But if you could show them that before God, before God, that they're not that nice, that's where you kind of win them because everybody sees they're good when they compare each other to other people. It's like the sheep I say the sheep on green a white sheep on green grass looks white, but the same sheep on pure snow it looks yellow, because what happens? Absolute perfection and whiteness of snow. Snow was 100% white, right? And compare that to the standard. It's all about the standard. So if the standard is a bad standard, right? Then what happens is like then it's easy to say, well, I'm better than that. Like in a job or something. Oh, the boss likes this person because that person is this. But at the end of the day, it comes down to like, what the standard is, what is right before God. Is righteousness is the standard, not like liking us, or how much you like this person. Because that's the thing. Is like righteousness says, well, you know what, you gotta help the person out there, and you gotta do that which is right. You gotta be, you gotta you have to do the right thing because God is watching, right? And that's what it's about. But if, for example, somebody's like, well, you know what, I'm better than that person over there, or I'm better than that person over there, I'm not as bad as this person, and I've heard that so many times by so many people, and it's just like it makes you think, like, what standard did they use to judge? I bet you there's people who are better than them and nicer than them, but it's still not as good as God. It's like God is the standard. He's the standard. He's the standard of righteousness. Right? So here, that this guy here, yeah, it looks just like his like the original. They give you your spots. They give you your pink mouth too. All right, so now, I'm gonna give some cool. Get another brush and see if I can make this as cool as possible. Black inside the eyes. Cool hand look. What we have here is failure to communicate. I don't like it any more than you. Alright, so. Okay, so we have this guy here. Gotta look and see what spots I missed. Okay, top of his tail right there. Top of his tail, missed it. See, now you understand why I charge the price I do, because, for example, it takes a long time and then still not finished. This is like the first coat. Alright, so you have the first coat. Like that. 1 hour, 18 minutes. Yeah, right, so you have that one. He's not done yet. Well, I'm gonna have to let you sit for a little bit because I need you to. All right, you should dry. You stay right there. Next one is you. All right, we got a nice brush here. I'm gonna go ahead and give this guy some nice contour lines. See that way I do the colors. Okay, here goes this right there. Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh, the colors are so cool in this, guys. Mm-hmm. All right, here is this one. All right, is that. I love this. This is great. And your elbows right about. Yeah, how about that? Actually, the Darkwing Duck colors. Darkwing Duck. That W called EW. All right, so you have that. Okay. There's some lines on his back. He looks so muscular. Goodness. All right. Let's see. I'm going to. Okay. Well, almost done. See that here? Black and. This is cool colors. These are cool colors right here. I should have gone with the purple. I really should have. All right. So here's that. Okay. So this is pretty cool. All right. So I have this. This is here. This is what I got so far. Doing all detail and stuff now. The brown one now is going to be fun to do because I really don't have a detailed pattern for him. Might do some spots or something. All right, so we got this here. This. Sweet. Okay, right here. Oranges. See, the whole thing about this is like you're making a canvas, you know? This is like a 3D canvas. You're painting in 3D space. So whenever you do these things, you make a creature, it's a 3D canvas that you can paint all directions around it. And it's like, it may not seem like much, but believe me, it is much. It's a lot. So you have this. All right. Yes, look at that. Look at that setup. My goodness. Hmm. I like it. I like it. I like it. All right. So here's this one. This one's pretty much done right now. I'm looking to make sure I got all the spots completed. I gotta go to the tail. Outline for the tail. Right there. Right there. All right. Okay, 1, 2, 3. This way, so I can see it. Yes, look at this. I like it. I like it. I like it. The patterns are great. Okay, I should paint a gremlin like this. You know what? It's good enough. Top of the black. Top of the black. All right, so here we go. Top of the black. All right, there. Give it the eyes. So I make sure his colors are great. That's a fun cup up. All right, I have to. I gotta do the gremlin real quick now. This one here. Do the gremlin. Let's give him some cool patterns. Right. All right, let's give you a cool pattern. I haven't got your back yet, but let's give you some cool things for the front. For sure, eyes. Oh, so you're not so scary anymore. Well, maybe you still are. I don't know. Okay, well. All right, so we got this. We got so far. Let's do this one here. All right, so here goes. This one. I don't know. This is kind of different. I just. Oh, you're so scary looking. Oh my goodness, you're so scary looking. This is like You know, I don't know. I gotta change up your colors. Are scary. Is it because you're black? I don't know. Maybe. Okay, well, here's this one. Give you some cool colors. Give you some cool things. You like the dark version of Argus. But no, I mean, I gotta give you better. There's something about you, buddy. You're just not right. I don't know what it is. It's just like, you know, trying to get you the right colors. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I could work it. Let's see. That's the thing about artistry. You're not really sure exactly what it's going to accomplish. And then you're just like, okay, you know what? Let's keep at it. And like, oh, something's emerging. Something is emerging out of all this. It doesn't look too bad now. Look, it doesn't look as scary. Look, like, it looks like a scary. Oh goodness, I gotta give you some other colors. Let's give you some other things here. Yeah, it's working. Yeah, it's working. Yeah. Yeah, she was like, this is starting to look cool. She looks really kind of freaky. Thank you. Hey, what's up, Teddy Bennett's? Benitez. So good to see you. Thank you so much. Oh my word. It's been a while. It's been a while. Yeah, we have I've been a couple of things working on this one. This one. I'm going. This was the I have a red and black one. So I had a class I was teaching, and this is the one I had from the class I taught. This is a Fire Belly. So I got to give Fire Belly some of his marks too. So this is this one. I don't know what to call this one yet. Probably Brownie. Right, Leroy. Everybody's Leroy. Bruce Leroy. So you have that. You ring around your neck to break up your neck. Use some spots in your ears. Yeah, look at you. All right, cool. This is there. You look really kind of teethy. Awesome. God bless. God bless you too, bro. And so this is here. Thank you so much for all your contributions throughout the years. You know, I did make that the teddy bear, right? And I gave it to one of my coworkers who was going to the Philippines, and he said they took it. Customs took it, which I'm like, that's not like hooey to me. But anyway, so I told him when he's on the plane to make pictures of it, and he didn't do that. So he said customs took it. So, So yes, that teddy bear is out there in cyberspace, no, out there in the real world, making its round around the world. Hopefully, comes back, right? But I don't know, maybe not. Maybe I don't want it to come back. But yeah, that was cool. He had a teddy bear, and you know, so that's what I did, made teddy bear. Awesome. I remember. Yeah, that was so cool. So then, so what happens like his I'm trying to figure the back now. So if I put the back, so here's this guy here. Let me see if I can make him a little less toothy. He seems so toothy. Yeah, that was a cool thing because it was like I made it and then I just kind of gave it away as a gift. But that was cool. That was a good inspiration, you know. I had it before. I was asking people to let me know what they thought about certain things, like you know, just kind of give me opinions and stuff, you know. And some people, you know, not too many people wrote in, but you know, feel free to ask me any questions you like. I'd be willing to answer. This one here is like cool. I have a brown gremlin. Yeah, he needs like white. That's why I need some white, some gray. Oh, I'm gonna paint his back gray. His back will be gray. Okay, I'm gonna paint the back gray. So let him dry, and I'm gonna use this to make the red. Okay, here, this one. Look at this one. Oh. So I'm gonna give him some red belly markings. This is gonna be some markings for him. See, the thing about acrylic paint, it dries so fast, which is great. I'm so glad for that. So let's give you some red belly markings. Oh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. These are the same headphones I got from Five Below. I put a little piece of a vinyl tape on it because what happens when a coworkers gave me some vinyl tape, and I was trying to see if I could do like some of that tape, that tape thingy, where you do that tape painting type stuff or tape design, and I was gonna do that. I haven't got a chance to like do that as of yet, but so I put a piece of like this is vinyl tape, and I didn't know how intense vinyl tape is. It's actually pretty good. If I put vinyl tape, well, I bought some as well, and still going strong. Yeah, these are great. See, the thing was like the little cap on this thing came off, right? And I have it. I found it. It fell on the ground, and so I just got to reattach it. I had like a little piece of string there on it. These are so cool. These are cool. Probably good to buy like an extra one or something like that, just in case. You never know how you might need to come across and save it again in the future. That's always fun because it's like these headphones are really good. I like them a lot. They're very, very good. I use them a lot. I use them when I'm coming home from work. I use them listening to stuff. If anything, it's like they're very comfortable and cushiony. So I like it. So yeah, it's very good stuff. It's so cool, so cool. So I'm give this one some spots. So I have some spots now. So spots on this guy here, right? And I have to just go over and make sure I get all the other spots completed. So this ink is great because it's like this acrylic ink on him is great because this is like a thick enough to kind of not be too runny. So it's like it's thick enough so when you paint it, it holds and it just kind of absorbs nicely and it makes nice thick layer. Oh my goodness, thank you so much, Teddy. Oh my word. Oh my goodness, thank you so much for that. Oh wow. Oh wow. I appreciate that. Oh my goodness, I should send you something. You know, um I really appreciate that. This is like so cool. This is like, when I have this is like I'm just like here's more of this right there and I absolutely like that. I'm just so grateful. Thank you. Thank you so much. You know, this is so cool. So yeah, so what happens is like I'm doing this because what happened we didn't see the Predator movie, the new Predator movie, but I had a list of Predators that I had earlier in the video, and what I did was I showed some of the ones that I had made. I didn't see the movie yet, so I don't know if the new ones are in the movie, but it's so much fun just to be able to to do this stuff. So here's this here. You got the spots. And get the spots just right because it's like you want to have just enough spots, not too many, and not too little. And you don't want the spots to be like like where it be on us kind of thing. So you have to be like kind of like in between and around there because these spots are like they're warning. It's supposed to be warning labels that this is a warning creature. You're very cool. I'm happy to see that you're enjoying your craft. I love this. We were doing classes before. We did classes back in before October. October we did the last class. Wait, October I did one? I think yeah, I did one in October. Yeah, October I did last class. And happy holidays to you and your family. Keep shining. Thank you so much. You too as well. It's like we did classes. I had all my kids. They got a chance to pose in the class, and we were sculpting people. And then we were like, then I had some. I had one. Last class was the gremlin class. This was the last class. The last class was the gremlin class. We made him, and so I had him was the gremlin that we made to for the class. I made a bunch of them, a bunch of protoforms, and had the people finish them in class, which was so cool. So right now I'm working towards having um, I don't want to spoil it. They say let your yay be yay, your nay be nay, right? So I'm probably gonna tell you more about it when I get it done because that way it's like it's better. They say get your stuff done and then tell people about it. Prove it through the actual experience as opposed to say what I'm gonna do. So don't say what you're gonna do. Say what you already did, kind of thing. Say what you already did. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do some stuff and then I'm gonna tell you what I did. That way it's like I have proof in the pudding that I was able to get it done, and that also I don't like put undue pressure. I don't listen to your family and keep training. Thank you so much. I hadn't looked up in a while, and so when I looked up, I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. That's so cool. This is the best thing. I really appreciate that. I wish another word instead of really appreciate that. Let me think of it. I'm grateful. I'm very grateful for your generosity. Looking forward to a wonderful weekend. Yes, you enjoy. I had injured my foot, on my job yesterday. So I was like, one of the things was that I had to not go to work today, and so I just spent the day kind of like recuperating, and I'm trying not to put too much pressure on this foot. So then it was the thing is what happens is like it's like it's just one of those things where I'm glad it wasn't worse. What happened was a plate fell, and I was carrying a plate into the kitchen to dish it, and what happened was like it fell, and I went to kick it so it wouldn't hit the ground, and it was just like a reflex. It was coming down like a soccer ball. You catch a soccer ball on top of your foot. Well, the ceramic plate is not a soccer ball, let me tell you. So yeah, so what happens is this: you have that where it's like, oh, I got to put the rim around the bottom of his lip so that'll be completed. Yeah, there you go. And then so what happened was I caught it with my foot, and my foot didn't bounce. It just caught it, and it was like, ow. And then so it was more like, I was like, ah, kind of thing. And so when I did that, I had to go make a report and everything. My feet were like, it's just, I mean, it wasn't like overwhelming pain, but it kind of one of those things where, first is adrenaline, because you're like, oh my goodness, I just caught this porcelain thing with my foot, right? And then, and then after that, I porcelain put like ceramic plate and like try to catch like a tile with your foot, and the tile hits you and it doesn't flex. It's just like it didn't break either. So you got to absorb the total force of it all. I think it's about maybe 2.5, 3 feet, because I'm 6 feet, right? So if you have half of me, let's say about half of me, like higher, like high, 2.5, 3 feet off the ground, and then that thing falls to the ground, and I break the fall with my foot. I don't know. I think that was a dumb move. If you're asking me, I should have just let it break, but I didn't know. Just stop the fall, stop it before it happens. And that's the thing. When you go to try and stop something, try and do something, you actually run the risk of just injuring yourself, and that's what happened. I actually injured myself by stopping a cataclysmic situation from happening. I would have broken, I would have shattered, and I would have bounced all over the place. That would have been like terrible. Yikes! Gotta run. Be safe. Oh, I like that. That's a cool dinosaur emoji. Thank you. Have a good day. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Teddy. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, and I'm very grateful. God bless you. Until we meet again. Until we meet again. Thank you. Okay, so there's that. So here's this one. This one is like almost done. He just needs his tongue to be painted, and then that's pretty much it. But yeah, as for the black and red, he looks great. You look great, buddy. You look great. Get you there. Now the goal is to find all the spots that I missed and to fill it in. We'll meet again. Don't know how, don't know when. And that's so cool. Okay, so you're this and this and this and this and that. All right, so almost 2 hours. You see how long it takes to actually paint these guys? These guys take a while to paint. You got to paint, let it dry, let it sit. Paint, let it dry, let it sit. Paint, let it dry, let it sit. Next one. Paint, let it dry, let it sit. All right, so I've been doing this for about 2 hours now. Well, almost 2 hours. Let's see if I can get to 2 hour mark, and I'm gonna call it quits. Okay. That way, a 2 hour video, and just let it play. About to get me some more food. I'm starving, and my feet. Oh my goodness, my leg hurts. Okay, so anyway, so for the most part though, this has been like one of those things where you just like, as I'm doing this, I'm grateful for all the supporters we have. People come along and just help us out, and that's great. That's greater than great. That's just wonderful. Thank you so much. I have a friend of mine who says, thank you for supporting a living artist, and it's true. It's better to support a living artist than to support one that's already passed on, because living ones have bills to pay and food to eat and children to raise and things to do. So if you get someone to come along and and help you out with something, that's always great. That's always great. So I appreciate all the help, and I appreciate I had supporters who come along and help us through things. This is the thing. You just how many different ways could you say I thank you? They say thank you. Maybe it's in the way they move or say things, or just how do you say thank you? It's just just do it, and you just do it. I'm gonna put it under the chin, a couple dots under the chin. Yeah. So I have a fire belly salamander and two fire belly gremlins. I should have put so many dots, but here we go. This one here. This is one here, and this is there. Right, so there's that. I thought about putting it in the air, but it reminds me of like the what do you call it? The miraculous with the pajamas. Miraculous, the miraculous butterfly. What's her name? Miraculous and Cat Noir. So cool. Make this big dot. All right, big dot right in the belly. There you go. Oh yeah. All right, cool. So there, your miraculous pajamas. There you have that. I'm gonna put you up there. I gotta get your feet, tips of your feet real quick, and then I'll come back to you to finish you off. But as for you, you're gonna be done right now, so you are done. Here is the grandchild, and here's the original extra crispy. All right, there you go, original extra crispy. There you go. Right, so I like it. I like it. It works. It works. Okay, cool. Still working on this cool stuff. All right, so now we have. I'm gonna make the back of that one gray. Next one is here. This one's done. So this guy here, he's done. This one is done and done. I like it. I like the colors on this one. I just gotta like just kind of make sure it's all good everywhere. All right, just kind of on there, that. Yeah, he's look at you all beefy. Yes. Thank you so much. Okay, they're all beefy. They'll put this down there. Next one is this one. The pregnant one. Pick the pregnant one. Paint the pregnant one. That'd be fun to paint it, right? Paint all pink and stuff. The pink belly. I got this one. All right, pink belly. That'd be fun to make red hair and pink belly. Let's do this. I'm going to turn the page on this real quick because what happens is like, how much time I got? I got about 7 minutes. Right, I'm going to flip this over to a page that's already been used. That way I don't have to worry about the ink getting on me. All right, there's that one. Flip it over here. And this one here, we have this lady here. We're going to paint her. And I'm going to give her... I don't think she's done yet. I got to kind of just finish up some of her stuff. Let me just do that real quick. All right, we'll take these gloves off for a second. These gloves have white on the inside. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go finish her up, give her some like some more lady lumps. So we have that. Here's the lady lumps. So you have that thing, you know, the Daddy Moore. There's like the hold the hand here, like that. I like that. It's like I'm holding the baby. I'm holding the baby. Right. So pretty much like that. So okay, let me go ahead and just work on this real quick. Got a few minutes. My goal is to be done by the 2-hour mark. So right now we are at, I got 6 minutes to the end of the thing. So let me see if I could just, I might just finish up. I won't get to paint her, but let me just fix up her face a little bit. Fix your face, girl. You're carrying a human child. Okay, so let's see. There's this. All right, let's see. Just kind of get the face like this. Let's see where that face. Let's try this. Let's see if I can just make it all good and good. All right. See the lumps? See how lumpy it is? Like that, right? So like, just how like curvy my belly is. Oh, the curvy belly. You know what? I remember. Oh my word! I just remember that the whole thing of like my wife being pregnant and having to carry the children. That is something you don't forget. That you do not, especially when you love your wife and you love your kids. It's like the thing I love about them is that the thing is that she went through that, you know, to bring our children into this world. And so, you know, that's something. So a shout out to my wife who went through this body like transformation, genetic modification, right? Genetically modified, right? To be like, you know, to bear our children. That, my friend, is a lot. And you know, you guys who have children, just think about what your wife had to do. She had to be altered. You know, sometimes you don't ever come back to what you were, you know, and now you're better. You're something better because you went through the whole transformation process of having to bring another life into this world. That, my friend, is like the true gift of marriage and, you know, a beautiful preggo lady. Beautiful preggo lady. All right. I don't know how many months do you think she is? She might be like what, 6 months, 8 months? I don't know, maybe 8 months. let's fix up her lady lumps. Because like I said before you, well the thing is like that also grows to the top lady lumps. What happens like they grow differently, and then so when you give milk for the first time, them things swell. Let's kind of just boost them up real quick. Become like a boosty. There you go. Alright, got 4 minutes. I may not be able to paint this one in time because, you know, reasons. But for the most part, though, if I ever got a chance to, you see it and like that she's all like, you know, she's all ready to give birth to the children. All right. Yep. Yeah. And it's like, you know, just it's the ultimate in like everything we think about it. When to give birth, to have children, to make a family, you know, to find someone that loves you, to make a baby, to just the whole thing of it all. It's just like it's just a long and very like committed process. And then you have people that just, you know, throw it all away, you know. And you're just thinking about how like amazing it is that people could actually do this. Some people can't even have children, you know. And some people, you know, they want to have kids and they try forever, and then you have this beautiful aspect. It's like, you know, and then think about our Savior. Jesus came into the world through Mary, you know, and they say Mary went through, she was like, you know, they had to run, flee from, you know, persecution, because it was going to be like something, you know, they could have gotten really, you know, really messed up, and then Jesus would never come into the world. Or she was like, or if Joseph was like, you know, like a harsh dude, he would have been like, nah, you know, kind of thing. And it was just like, instead, you know, I was able to, you know, I can actually make an outfit for her. Because, I mean, that's like the ultimate. This is like an outfit of her just being like Jade and pregnante. I don't know. It's a cool thing. I mean, I could never get pregnant because I'm a guy. But for the most part, though, with my wife, she did. And we have 4 children. And they're all alive and well, praise God. So I thank God for that. So, yes. And I'm very, 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 very grateful for that. That, you know. Grandkids change your whole body. You know? Just think about that. Just how amazing the whole thing is. God be glory. God made this, you know. God made this. It must have been really tough for Eve. Imagine Eve. She never had no one to explain. She didn't have a mom to kind of walk her through the process. To have the first children in the world, you know. Have Adam, Cain and Abel, you know, and then Seth. And it's just like that's something. It must have had like knowledge. God must have just walked them through it. They must have continued to have a conversation with God. Like it'd be kind of interesting what the forgiveness of Adam would have been like, you know, having to ask for forgiveness and say, God, I'm sorry, or the salvation of Adam. Because I still want to like kick him right in the sweets for what he did to us, you know, Adam. He did a terrible, terrible thing. That's why I say there's no psychics, because if he was psychic, he would have known not to do it. Anyway, this is and he being the best of the best, the firstborn created from God directly. It would have been like, you think about it, you know, humanity was created from God directly, right? You think about it, we were created like just like angels. Angels were created from God, and we were created, and God breathed into us a soul and became a living creature. So I want to thank you so much for being with me this time and hanging out with me. It's now officially 2 hours since we started, and we had several creatures we worked on, and now it's time to say goodbye to all my company. Bye, my friends. Bye, my friends. And see me again, okay? I would love to see you guys again. I want to say thank you all for being here. This nice little pregnant lady. No, my wife's not pregnant. Okay, she's not pregnant. Not right now. We had 4 kids already, and so, but she's not pregnant. Just I'm obsessed with pregnant ladies and massive art. So here, this is what as a recap. We made this guy here. We painted him. We used him as the subject. So this was the one. He was the class. This is one from the class. This is the one from I painted today from voting. Yes, I gotta get his back. So his back is not finished yet. And then this one here is a purple Diplocaulus. Okay, that is all, my friend. I want to say thank you so much for joining me today. I wish you all the best. God bless you. And pregnant lady says bye. Pregnant lady says bye. All right, so I wish you all the best. Take care. God bless. Bye. Like and subscribe.